welcome to Untethered Yoga. I'm Jordan. I'm glad you could join us for this little flow. So it is really cold here in Texas and it's March. Don't know what happened, but with that in mind, we're kind of going to take it down to the floor today and just have a really relaxing, calm, cool, chill practice. There is something so nice and fresh about not having to be in a hurry to get up and go do stuff and to just have time to yourself. So this practice is all about the unwind. Okay, so we're just going to be on the floor the whole time. You don't have to get up, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to do anything. This is your time for you. So we're going to start on our back. We won't be here for more than just a few minutes. And then just to get started with kind of sinking into the present moment, go ahead and just take a few breaths here. You can have your hands on your belly, maybe one hand on your belly and one on your chest. Just take a moment to dial in, to notice where your journey is in this moment, to notice any changes that are going on, either around you, maybe within you. But then to also extend gratitude for the change and for the process. Just a few more breaths. Beginning to make your exhale longer than your inhale if you're not already there. Good. And then from here, gently peel your knees in towards your chest. And rock and roll side to side. If you need to take your knees out a little wide to make room for your belly, you can. And then maybe you begin to make circles with your knees going one way. And then go the opposite direction. And if you notice any spot that just feels particularly good, go ahead and hang out there and just kind of gently massage a little bit. Good. And then from here, go ahead and extend your left leg out long. And bring your right leg a little closer to your chest. And then drop that leg out to the side for a little bit of an inner hip stretch. Make sure that this left hip here stays anchored down to the floor. It's really easy to start to feel that hip peel up off the floor, but allow that hip to sink down. And it can even help sometimes to have your hand anchoring onto the front part of that hip bone. If you're in your third or later second trimester and this just kind of hurts your back, you can also bend that left knee to help decrease the curvature of the spine. Good. And then you'll take this leg back through center, extend the heel and the toes up to the ceiling, flex the toes down towards your face, and allow your knee to be straight but not hyperextended. So we don't want to bend the knee, but we also don't want to lock it out. So just a gentle bend, almost non-existent, but enough to protect your knee and protect your joints. From here, if you have the flexibility and you want to bring your knee closer into your face, you can. Maybe grabbing hold of the big toe, maybe looping behind the calf. And then you can throw in some little ankle circles, one way, circle it out the other way, and maybe even point and flex your toe a few times. slowly bend your knee. Take your leg either out long or you can keep it bent, just whatever your comfort level for your back is. And then we'll go again, hug the left knee in. Anchor down the right hip and drop the left knee out to the side, opening up the inner hip. Now, if you are an experienced yogi and you have the flexibility and you want to deepen this stretch, you can also always take the leg out and extend it out. And coming back through center, take the heel and the foot up towards the ceiling, flex the toes towards your face, and draw the leg in. Remember to keep a soft bend in your knee, but straighten your leg enough to where you feel a gentle stretch here in the hamstring. And then begin to circle the ankle one way, draw little circles or maybe even a heart on the ceiling. And circle the other way. And then point and flex your toes, point the toes away, draw them down towards your face. And point and flex. Good. And then gently lower your leg down. And from here, roll yourself onto your right side. You're going to take your right arm out long, draw the left arm out behind you, just a little bit of a twist here. So it's really important to roll to the side first before you go into this twist, especially during pregnancy. You want to protect the low back, you want to protect the joints in the SI region of the back. And you can turn your head and drop your gaze down towards your right fingers. If you feel like you need a little extra support for your legs and for your knee and for your hip, you can also add a block or a pillow between your knees. And then we'll roll to the other side. So roll onto your right arm. Keep your right arm extended out long. If you have the block between your knees on the opposite side, go ahead and add it back. And then reach your left fingers out behind. Gaze down the left fingers. Maybe close the eyes. If you find that you can't reach so whether your arm and your hand are on the floor, you can also take a pillow and prop your arm up. Slowly unwind and we'll push up to a seated position. So the way I like to tell my pregnant mamas to push up is to roll to your side first, use your top arm to gently push into the floor, and then you can use this arm to get you a little further up. All right, so we're gonna take the soles of the feet together, kind of shimmy side to side, make sure that your hips are anchored into the floor beneath you. And from here, as you breathe in, find more length through your spine. Drop the shoulders down, soften through the face. And then as you exhale, begin to hinge forward. So before you round, make sure you start to pull forward, pulling your heart center forward and down. One more breath. And then now you begin to soften forward, You can add in the wonderful foot massage here. One thing that feels really good is to start at the base of the foot and then move your thumbs all the way up to the arch, past the arch, and then to the ball of the foot. Make sure you continue to breathe, and you might even notice that with each exhale, you're allowed to fall deeper into the pose. You notice those subtle, gentle releases that every exhale brings. And gently roll back up. Take a few shoulder rolls here, rolling your shoulders up towards your ears and then down your back and away. And then opposite direction, roll the shoulders forward and down. And from here you can cross your legs. If you need some added support in your hips, you can also take your pillow or your block and sit on it so that your knees are lower than your hips. All right, so from here we're gonna go into some lateral stretches. So you can take your right arm down to the floor next to your hip and then reach your left arm up and over your ear. But before you start to cave into the side, make sure that you find length first. So you feel both sides of your ribs elongate. And then you can reach over. You can spin your pinky finger down towards the floor, bring the arm back over the ear. And make sure you're not dumping all of your weight into this hand that is supporting you on the ground. You want to make sure that you're still lifting everything up and over. So every inhale, maybe you find a little more length. And every exhale, maybe you can reach a little further. One more breath. And coming back through center, take both arms up to the ceiling. Interlace the fingers, push the palms up and away, draw the shoulders down your back. And then maybe even turn your gaze to look up. As you exhale, move your chin to your chest, keep the arms high. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest, arms keep reaching up for the sky. Good. And then we'll go the opposite direction. Left arm reaches down and away. Right fingers sweep up high as you spin the pinky finger towards the floor. So again, make sure you're lifting up. So we're not compressing down. Lift up. We're making an active lateral stretch. Pull the tricep in line with the ear. Keep spinning the pinky fingers down to the floor. Last 2 breaths. Gently come all the way up, and again, interlace the hands at the top, reach for the ceiling, pushing the palms away, drawing the shoulders down the back. And this time, just take a little bit of a bend over to the left, or the right, I guess. And then we'll go the opposite direction. back through center, and then melt the hands down. Good. And then from here, you can take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, take your right hand behind your back. Let's get a gentle twist. Turn your gaze back over the right shoulder. And go the opposite direction. So right hand to left knee, left hand behind the back. Turn the gaze to the back of the room. Good. And coming back through center, go ahead and remove the block of the pillow if you have one under your hips. And then we'll make our way onto all fours. Good. So just take a few rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, drop the belly, only slightly. Lift the gaze. And exhale to round the back. Inhale to drop the belly, lift gaze. Exhale, round. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, you can take your feet together, your knees out wide, and then just drop your hips back as you walk your hands forward. If you need a little extra lift, so if you can't quite get your head on the ground, you can also use your block or pillow underneath your forehead. And then from here, walk your fingertips forward so that your elbows are actually off of the mat, but then draw your shoulders back into the shoulder socket. And with that strong activated stretch, go ahead and walk your hands over to the left. And you can take your right hand on the back of your left hand. And you'll feel a nice stretch along the right rib cage here. Make sure that your right hips stay glued down. So keep pulling your hips down and back. Keep activating your arms forward. And walk your hands over to the right. Take the left hand on the back of the right hand. Make sure that the left hip stays anchored down and back. Good. And then walk your hands back through center. Walk yourself all the way up, and then you'll heel toe or shimmy or however you want to get your right toes forward. So from here, you're going to make sure that your left foot and ankle stay in line with your left knee. Make sure your hips are square to the front, your right knee is over your right ankle, and then you can tip onto the outer edge of your right foot. So get a nice little hip stretch here. You can stay lifted, or you can also drop onto your forearms. You can relax your head, relax your neck. Make sure you stay soft through the glutes and through the legs. The tendency here to resist the pose might be to tension all of those muscles or to contract or fight what you're feeling. Now, an important thing is, as always, you never want to go so far into a pose to where you feel pain. If you are second, third trimester, your mobility might be limited by your bump, and that's perfectly okay. You also don't want to overstretch. You want to make sure that you go to what would be a normal stretch for you prior to pregnancy, especially if you notice that you're feeling a lot more mobile and flexible. All right, so we're gonna move into pigeon. So just like I just did, you're gonna bring your right foot and right shin parallel to the hips. Now, if you need to prop the hip up, if you're finding that your piriformis and your hip flexors are all extremely tight, you can support the hip like this. If you don't have that problem, you don't have to support your hip. And then from here, just kind of walk yourself onto your forearms or maybe stay lifted. I love this stretch for any sciatica that a lot of people have. Largely in pregnancy, sciatica is aggravated by piriformis tension, and this pose right here, this stretch, really helps to target that tension area and to help calm any of those symptoms. If being in this position right here isn't accessible for you, one variation that you can do is you can do this on your back. So I'll just show you real quick and then I'll look back to the front like I was. But if you need to go to your back and do this, you can cross your ankle over your knee. Make sure that this knee drives away from the chest and then bring your left leg in. And you'll get that same sensation, the same stretch, the same muscle group. And then switch sides. So if you are on your back taking this modification, you can just cross your left leg over your right knee. If you were this way, we'll go here, drive your hips back, make sure your shin is roughly parallel to your hips. If you need to pop your hip up, go for it. And then walk yourself down. And don't worry, we'll go back into that low lunge in a second. Again, check in, make sure that you are relaxing through the glutes, relaxing through the thighs, relaxing even through the toes and through the forehead. The forehead, for me, takes a lot of the brunt of my tension sometimes. I'll think of relaxing everything and then I notice that there's a lot of tension up there in the forehead. So gently soften the area around the eyebrows. Soften the area around the eyes. And remember to breathe. Just 3 more breaths, filling up all the way and letting all the breath go. Inhale, empty, last breath. And exhale. Good. So if you were on your back taking that variation, go ahead and find your way into our lunge. If you were taking a traditional pigeon, just walk your foot heel toe out to the side. Bring your right knee back. Make sure the ankle is in line. Make sure that your knee and your ankle are in line over here on the left side. And then pivot that foot so that you fall to the outer edge of your ankle. And again, you can drop them to your forearms. You can stay lifted. Just be mindful that you're not stretching too much. If this is too much right here, I highly recommend that you stay lifted. If you don't have the ability to pivot onto the outer edge of your ankle, it's perfectly fine to keep your foot flat. All right. And then slowly begin to push yourself up. And then bring your foot back to meet the other one. I'm just gonna roll back and forth here. So moving the hips back and then dragging the chest forward. Good. All right. So from here, we're gonna go into a little bit of a cow face pose. You might need a towel or a strap or something that you can hold on to if your shoulders are really, really, really tight. So what you're gonna do with your legs is you're gonna take one knee in front of the other and then drop your hips back. Again, just like we did in pigeon, if you need a little elevated support for your hips, use your block. On this one, your block would be right over here on this right side, okay? Or I guess if you're looking at me on the TV screen, it would be on your left side. Okay, so then from here, if this feels okay, I'll turn so you can see. For the arms, you're gonna take your left arm up, your right arm back, and then if you have the flexibility in your shoulders, you'll just interlace your fingers like this. So you make little hooks with your fingers. If you need a strap or a towel, you'll hold it in this hand here, drop it down your back, and then this bottom hand will reach up and grab it, okay? So get set up. Don't worry so much about what arm goes up, what arm goes down. We'll balance it out, we'll do both sides. I feel like sometimes this pose is a lot like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. More breaths. I know your arms are probably getting tight. Last 2 breaths. Good job. Last breath. All right, you can release the arms slowly. Make a big circle with the arms, and then we'll switch sides. You need to take your legs out long for a little bit of stretch first. Get the blood flowing again. All right, so this time, whatever leg is on top, bring that leg to the bottom. Whatever leg is on the bottom, bring that leg to the top. And then whatever arm you reached up with first, switch it. That arm's going down and back. The opposite arm is going up and back. All right, so find your position. If you used your towel or your strap, go ahead and grab hold of that. Get it ready. And you might notice that one side feels tighter than the other, one side feels a little less accessible. All that's okay. We're always working towards balance, but At the end of the day, we do have lives that are a little more one side dominant than the other. If you do notice some of that imbalance, if you notice that one side is a little less accessible, maybe you go back and you spend some extra time on that side later on. Last 3 breaths. Good, and then gently release. Again, you can make a big circle with the arms, and then you can release the legs. Now we'll start to take it back down to the floor, but before we do, let's just take a forward fold here. So shimmy your hips, go ahead and actually pick your leg up, spiral the inner thigh in. Same on this leg. All right. And then sweep the arms all the way up. And then exhale, hinge from the hips, and then begin to round. It's okay if you can't reach your toes. If this is all you can reach, just be there now. Know that wherever you are is perfectly fine. It's exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. And we just observe it, we note it, and we move on and accept it. One of the most beautiful things with yoga is that there is no judgment. There is no, I should be here. There is, I am here. You are here. You are on your mat. You are here. If you feel like you want to amplify this sensation, make sure your toes are pulled back towards your shins. And you can sneak in yet another foot massage here. For just a few more breaths, guys, and then we'll get set up for final relaxation. Alright, so we'll get set up for final relaxation. We'll take this one propped up on our incline today. So grab your 2 blocks. And then grab your rectangle bolster. So if you have your blocks, make sure you have one going straight up, one on its side. Make sure your bolster is stable so that you don't fall back. Then you can scoop your hips up next to your bolster. Go ahead and roll yourself back. And something here is if you want to take either a rolled up blanket, a large pillow, or if you have a little circle oval bolster, you can take that under your knees. And then if you are having any carpal tunnel like symptoms, you can also make a stack of pillows here to prop your arms up and help encourage all the blood and the fluids to kind of flow back out, the inflammation to flow out of your wrists. And then you can also cover yourself up with a blanket to stay nice and warm. I encourage you, as always, to stay in your final relaxation for 10-15 minutes and just let this be a chance to recharge, reconnect, and start your day or your week off on a more refreshed foot. Thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to sharing more flows and tips and everything else in the future. As as always, if you ever have any requests or questions, feel free to reach out. Bye and have a good week.